Republican versus Jason Darby, the Democrat. Representative Reichman was invited to participate but was unable to join us. Representative Reichman did participate in the primary election candidate forum we hosted that you may view a video of his comments at www.votejoco.com. Therefore, I will now invite Jason Darby up to the podium. And you have 1 minute for your opening remarks.
Well, tough act to follow. My name is Jason Darby. I am the Democratic candidate in House 78, which is basically the southeastern portion of Olathe, the area basically from Garmin to the airport and from the Nazarene Church south to the Price Chapel where I work. I have lived in Olathe my entire life, save for 3 days in which I was currently in the Shawnee Mission Medical Center where I was born. So I am Olathe born and bred. I'm a product of the Olathe School District. I know, and more importantly, I'm a product of Kansas itself. I know what this state is capable of being when we come together and we set our differences aside and we do what is necessary to get the job done. And that's the kind of culture that I want to bring back to Topeka. It's a culture that's been sorely lacking these last few years, and I want to try and renew that.
First question, what are your views on the budget and state tax policy? Are there tax or spending policies that you would add or change? And please be specific.
The most specific answer that I can provide is that the first thing I want to do and the first thing I will do is I will propose a bill to repeal the LLC tax exemption. That is the first common sense step that we can take to help stop the bleeding and to ensure that we can actually pay our bills. Everything stems from the budget and from the tax problem and this quixotic march to zero income taxes that started in 2012 and has just continued unabated since then. We need to stop, put the brakes on it, re-examine the entire tax policy from top to bottom, and we need to rewrite the tax policy and make it fair for all Kansans, not just those at the top, but for everyone. And we need to also try and limit our use and reliance on regressive sales tax, such as the high food sales tax that was brought into effect last year.
What are your views on K-12 education funding in Kansas, and how do you envision a new school finance formula, and would it include school vouchers, individual tax credits, or other voucher-like programs for private school tuition?
I will state the second part first. Under no circumstances will public money go to for-profit private schools. That's just blunt right off the top. As far as the school funding formula, there are two things that we need to do. The first thing we need to do is that we need to bring, as I believe somebody said, we need to bring all the stakeholders, Paul said that we need to bring all the stakeholders together. We need to get them on the record as to what their opinion is, what they need, and we need to work from there. And for me personally, the first thing that I will look at as far as a school funding formula is that how does it affect Johnson County schools? More specifically, how does it affect the schools in Olathe and Blue Valley, which is the district that I would represent, and I would adjust my approach from there.
Next question. In recent years, the legislature has diverted funding dedicated to the state's transportation program to pay for other purposes. Do you support dedicating sales tax revenue to specific purposes, such as transportation? Or do you support all state expenditures, including transportation, should be subject to the appropriations process, where legislators determine the funding levels entirely?
What we've heard from just about every candidate up here, and I think we can all agree, is that Kansas has really good roads, especially in comparison to the state of Missouri. Obviously, that means that something has been done right. So we need to keep the allocations going that have been in place for the last few years. What I would caution, though, as far as people saying, oh, we can use it as the bank of KDOT, that's the phrase that people use. Currently, prior to all this happening, and this was a figure that was given to me by a newspaper person at Old Settlers, was that we had enough money in KDOT to fund, to repave every road in Kansas within 7 years. As it stands now, and as we continue at the rate that we've been pulling things out, that's going to become in every 30 years. So we are currently moving towards an unsustainable transportation policy. We need to stop that move.
Question number 4. What are your views on local control, including recent legislation limiting local government property tax revenues without a public vote?
I am a frontline employee. I work with the public every day in retail. I'm not someone who lives high up in an ivory tower making decisions for a lot of people. And I can speak from experience when I say that the more layers of management you have between the people you serve and the people who are control the purse strings, the less reliable it is in spending that money and accountability. The people who know best how to spend money are the people who are on the front line, the city councils and the county commissioners who make those decisions, and the state should not be getting involved and capping their ability to raise revenues where they need to raise revenues. They know best. They shouldn't be getting involved with school districts' ability to do this either.
And your closing question, what is the most important thing that distinguishes you from your opponent in this race?
I think the most important thing that distinguishes me is accountability. I want to be held accountable. I want people to tell me if I'm not doing a good job, to come up to my face and tell me, hey, you suck. I want people to hold me accountable in 2 years. If I haven't done what I said I was going to do, I want you to throw me out. I want that. And so far, what I can see, based on the fact that he is not here, he has not been to any forum that I have attended, Mr. Reitman doesn't seem to share that need for accountability. I hope he does. I could be wrong on that. I've never met the man. I wish I could meet the man. But as of now, I would say that would be the biggest difference.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason Darby.